What is up, guys? Fado82 coming at you with a weekly Rust update. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this week's patch and show off some of the more noteworthy changes. Some are subtle and some are not so subtle, but let's get right into it. So you guys might notice in front of me there's a horse roaming the countryside down here. Horses have been added into the game, guys, and they are beautiful, majestic creatures. Right now you cannot ride them. They are just here to be another food source, but they're very plentiful and you will come across them quite frequently in your journeys. In terms of the yield that they give you, it's pretty much on par with what you'd get from a bear. And we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So the horse is down for the count. Sorry for horse lovers, but we're trying to just see what they give us. And you'll notice if you go up to the horse, you are going to get a yield that is similar to what you'd be getting from a bear. So we have the cloth, the animal fat, and then the meat as well. It gives you wolf meat, by the way. Another awesome feature to this week's patch is that the Burlap head wrap has been added back into the game. It brings us back to the days of Legacy when we had that sort of cloth wrap that went around the player's face, and I think it looks really amazing. I really dig it, and I know they're going to iterate on it a little bit more in the future, and it's just really cool looking. You can craft it right from the get-go. It costs 30 cloth and offers minimal head protection, but it looks so damn cool.
Appreciate you.
There have been 3 new head models added into the game, guys, so there's different variations of the Newman head. It's no longer the same head that is spread across all of the characters. I now have a character here who I believe has one of the newer head models or the newer facial expression. In my Faces of Rust video, which I did recently, a lot of people said I look like Barack Obama. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but more than one person said it, so maybe my character does look somewhat like that with this complexion and the facial features. If you put the Burlap head mask on, you can still see that the eyes are making their way through and it's very pronounced. And there are at this time 3 different head models in the game. So look around, your friends might look different, you might look different yourself. It's good stuff. And gibbing has been improved in the game on deployable items like furnaces and storage crates. Gibbing, guys, is how things break apart into the little pieces. So we noticed that first when the twig material was introduced into the game, and then recently that has been added to the new building models. But it's now on deployable items as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. It's pretty cool stuff. So you'll notice that it broke into parts, the debris is on the ground. It's just an aesthetic feature, but it's pretty cool and adds to the immersion into the game. Good stuff. Also, guys, while I'm holding the Thompson, let's go ahead and cover that. The rate of fire on the Thompson is now a little bit different, and bullet tracers have been added back into the game as well. Let's go ahead and test it out on our friendly bear over there. So notice the Thompson fires a little bit slower. I wouldn't necessarily call it a nerf, it's still an effective gun, and I actually think it helps to conserve on ammo. But notice, guys, the tracers, you can see them much better at night, and that's something that you want to be aware of as well if you're a fan of using the Thompson. And another cool aspect of this week's patch, guys, is that the sound on the barrels have changed. It's a very minor change, but it does add a lot more immersion to the game, and the sound's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and check it out. Another important feature to the changes in the landscape now is that it's added back sway to the grass, the trees, and the shrubs. So the wind blows gently through grass, trees, and shrubbery, and it's not really a game changer or anything like that, but it adds to the overall immersion in the environment, and it's a really cool feature and is something that I really enjoy seeing. Again, I can't wait till they add dynamic weather into the game. That's really what I'm looking for. I know that they're probably working on it, but this is just another step in that direction, and it looks really awesome. You're going to notice in this week's patch that the landscape has changed. It now looks a little bit different. The trees especially generate a little bit differently now. They do clip in and out a little bit more, but it is due to performance increases, and this patch has brought with it some of the best performance enhancements I've seen in the game so far. It's running as smooth as silk, and the server hasn't wiped, and people are having a great time. It's in stark contrast to last week's patch. The performance has increased greatly. The landscape seems to be a little more saturated with color. I think it does look better. I don't have a lot of complaints about that. It's looking pretty good. Clouds have been added back into the game, guys, and I saw on the dev blog, I'm not sure if it's added in yet, but there are stars that form into constellations now, or maybe if not now, in the near future, and you'll actually be able to navigate by those at night, which is a really awesome feature. I really love that sort of stuff, having people navigate by the landscape rather than having a compass that's displaying on screen or something like that. So great work on the landscape. Again, hats off to the Rust dev team. They really fixed the performance issues this go around. And building decay has been added back into the game, so you guys want to be aware that your buildings will lose health if you don't refresh them every day. I believe you refresh them by opening the door, but what you want to be aware of is that certain parts of the building may not necessarily know that they're connected to one another, even though they technically are. So it's still in development and it's still being fine-tuned, so be very careful of what's around your building. You don't want all your hard work to go to waste, and you can use the repair hammer to up the health on the building if it starts to decay. You want to try to refresh it every 20 to 48 hours if you can. Go ahead, man. Take it away, Shittikov.
Wild, wild horses, we'll ride them someday.